Live.
Excellent, thank you. Hello, everyone. This is the Captain Swan podcast number 77. I am Michelle, your host today, to the end of the world or time on Tumblr, and these are the folks with me today.
Hi, I'm Alex, and my Tumblr is Jolly Old Roger.
Hi, I'm Daniela, and I'm Princess Swan Love on Tumblr.
I'm Lisa, and I'm You Brought Me Home on Tumblr.
Hi, I'm Maya, and I'm Morgana Sonoray.
Hi, I'm Rons, and I'm Aloha Forever.
Okay, so apparently there were a few complaints that we didn't talk enough about 514 last week. So we have a couple of questions from 514 that we're going to do first before we get into the Brother Jones. And the first one is, Kat Wolf said, this is from 514, I just wanted to get your thoughts on Mila and Killian's first meeting in the tavern.
Me. Can I go?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, good. It was amazing. Mostly because we saw two things. We saw Mila, because one of the complaints about Mila was that she went too fast and that she forgot about her son, and etc., etc., etc. Here we see that she's actually a dedicated mother. And it was only because of Rumple's decisions that she decided she couldn't do it any longer. And on his side, we saw Killian who didn't back out when she mentioned the kid, but backed out when she mentioned the husband. So it wasn't like he was like, oh, she's a married woman, I'm gonna sleep with her. No. He had respect for her.
Yeah, I like that too, actually. Alex?
I liked it a lot because it showed that Killian gave her the choice of going with him or not. Like, he didn't push her too far. And, yeah, that's it.
Okay, I have to. And there's a lot of difference between Killian giving her a choice and Rumble taking away her choices. Ding, ding, ding. Plus, my beautiful red vest of sex was there. I missed it so much.
We've got a question about and I think one other thing I want to mention, that I think having the Rumple episode and the Killian episode back to back is on purpose to highlight how very, very different they are. So let's do the red vest of sex question. Flora submitted, okay, real talk. Why didn't you guys discuss the fact that we saw Cassie Killian Jones not wearing his big ass with Mila? It was the first time we saw him wearing the red vest without it. Lisa, go.
Okay, here's the thing. It's probably because I wasn't here. Let's face it. If I would have been here last week, I would have mentioned it because it's my creation. Thank you very much. It's my baby. I came up with
Lisa?
that.
Okay, it got a little loud. What was the questions about the red vest of sex?
Yes. Why didn't we talk about the red
last
vest of sex?
Because it's nothing new. He's probably worn it about a million times.
Yeah, but this was the first time without the coat, without the big pirate coat, and I have to admit that it did make it look even better.
Yeah,
it's the first time in ages we've seen him without a coat, period.
Yes, that's true. And it also kind of, I could really see where Colin was coming from. He had mentioned when people asked him about the coat, because it's 50 pounds of pure leather, that it gives him a lot of stature and a lot of girth that he normally doesn't have. And I didn't really see it at first, because even when he was out of it, his vests are tailored in such a way that it kind of gives him a little more shoulder width, and also when he's in the modern clothes, he's wearing his leather jacket, so it's kind of hard to tell. But in this instance, because he's so laid back, without the jacket, for the first time I could really see just how slight Colin really is compared to the stature that having that coat on gives him. It gives him such presence, and which is important. I'm wondering, because he didn't have it, I don't know if it's because he left it on a chair somewhere in the pub, or if maybe he acquired it on an adventure with Mila. Maybe she recommended it and picked it out for him. It's possible. It's entirely possible. We don't know.
No, I think Don't we see the coat in the first scene in the crocodile?
Yes.
Yeah.
They were already together.
Yeah. No, but I mean,
No,
the
that-
first scene.
His first scene in the crocodile, he was wearing the black velvet vest of sex.
No, that is the black
That's
vest of
not a vest of sex.
foreplay.
The only
Or the
vest
black,
of sex is the
whatever.
red
I
one.
don't keep
I
track
don't
of
know.
things.
I wasn't paying attention on the vest. Even though he looks hot on it, I wasn't paying attention. I was just looking at the episode. But nobody looks hot on that vest than Hook.
He was
Have the
wearing-
Well,
true.
nobody has worn that vest except
First time you
Colin.
see him in the pub where he's playing dice with his men and drinking, he's wearing the black velvet vest. And then the very next scene, which
No,
is
wait,
sometime...
no. No, he's wearing the coat in the tavern when he meets. Oh, that's never mind. I'm stupid. Continue.
And then,
No,
No, I was
later,
wondering.
then later
Is he
on,
wearing the coat?
later, yes, he's not wearing the coat until the next flashback, which is years later after
Oh,
Rumpel
okay.
sees him at the
See,
tavern
that's what I
having
was
beer.
asking.
Yeah,
But that
by
That's
doesn't-
what I
this,
was asking.
by this time, Rumpel's already become the Dark One, and he didn't realize the Hook was even there until he saw him walk in. And he was like, oh, this is my chance to fuck him up, because, you know, in his mind, he stole his wife. So when you see him later walking with his buddies down the alleyway, he's wearing the coat. But this is after Mila. This is after he already met
yeah.
her. So you really can't say for sure whether or not he already had the coat when he first met her, or if he picked it out for
Or
him.
maybe
later
he
on.
just doesn't like wearing the coat to bars.
Yeah, that's very party.
I think he looks really
I think he
young.
had
I
it,
think
and it was.
he looks very young. I think that's one of the reasons why they didn't use the coat, because I think this was soon after he mutinied with the crew after Liam's death, and he kind of has look of innocence where he still has his romantic ideals of a pirate being a free man and they can do whatever they want, that kind of thing. So I think that's one of the reasons.
Yeah, he has like this boyish charm
I
about
agree with
him.
Rams. Yes.
Irresistible.
Yeah, honestly, props,
And I
a
loved
million props to Colin because he's able to play it and look 30 years younger, well, plus 300, in that small scene than he does in the rest of the scenes with Mila or in the rest of the episodes. Like, damn, that's talent.
Okay, so Ram or not Rams? What am I talking about? Mai, did you get into your Rumpel is the worst rant?
Okay, you want me? Okay, I will. You
Here
know,
you go.
I've been waiting 2 weeks for this.
Keep it brief.
Okay. Mila is a queen who deserves the better, the best, the best, the best, the best. What the fuck?
What
was
was that?
Seriously. Don't speak when others are speaking, please. Or make noises. Okay, and honestly, I really hope they find a way to save her from the water of the dam. What's the name? Oh my god.
River of
River of
Lost
the Lost
Souls.
Souls. I remember because I mean, come on, the woman got screwed over in life. She cannot get screwed over in death as well. She didn't. She was so excited to go see her son and finally see him and talk to him. She deserves that. And hell, even Neil deserves that, you know? And yes, and she deserves to be happy and live happily ever after in death, okay? Not be lost forever because her husband, ex-husband, is a fucking murderous coward who doesn't know his right from his left and is a shitty human being, a shitty dark one, and a shitty all-around person. And seriously, why the fuck is Bella pregnant? I didn't get to complain about that. So, what the fuck? Why do shows do this? You do realize that 1,000 shows have done the thing where an actress gets pregnant. She doesn't have to be pregnant in the show. There's a shitload of ways, and there's CGI. You're a show with CGI. Don't tell me you can't hide the pregnancy. Like, come on. What
Well,
the fuck?
Mai, the thing that makes Belle being pregnant even worse is not just because it's not necessary, but because it's, Rumple is still lying to her about being the Dark One, and she would never have gotten back together with him if she knew that. So he's essentially raped her by deception. Now she's pregnant, and she has to, and her kid is promised a freaking Hades. How fucked up is this? And why do they think Rumbell is a salvageable relationship?
Honestly, apparently there's an interview that says that the baby is going to make Rumple change his voice. No, it's not. He didn't do it with Neil. He's not gonna do it with this new baby.
Exactly.
Honestly, if him being on death's door and having his heart turned into a black piece of coal and almost dying wasn't enough to make him change his fucking ways, nothing will be.
Exactly.
Because if he couldn't change his ways for his own son, who begged him, please, Papa, let's go somewhere else where there's no magic and we can live a happy life. If he couldn't do that, another baby's not going to change him.
Exactly what I said.
And Robert has already said he didn't sign up for the show to play Rumple getting redeemed. He played him to be a villain. He was almost pretty much certain that he's going to finish out this show without Rumple ever being good. That wasn't the point of the character. The point of the character is that he is irredeemable. Period. I feel sorry for his fans, for the character's fans, and for the fans of this ship, because they're not going to get what they want. They're just not.
You're going to get screwed over.
Well, to me, that's kind of...
not quite. Because, come on, you knew what you were signing on for. Like, there was really not...
That's the thing, though. I don't think they do. That they woobify him and romanticize Rumbell so much that they don't see it for what it really is. So they don't think they've signed themselves on for disappointment. They're like the crazier parts of a certain other ship that shall remain nameless, that deluded themselves into believing these things that are not true.
And at this point, honestly, if she continues to woobify him and gloss over all the things that he's done, especially after this, if this isn't enough to convince her, as if all the other things that he did should have been enough anyway, but if this isn't enough, you know what? She deserves what she gets.
Mm-hmm. No one deserves abuse.
I know that it sounds harsh and cold, but if she continues to go back to him, she is asking for more abuse. Period. End of statement.
But here's the thing. That's one thing with abuse victims. No one exactly can. Most of them go back. And not because they want to, because they don't know anything else. Like, seriously. No one deserves to be abused.
I agree completely, but here's my take on Belle. She is addicted. Every bit as much as Rumple is addicted to power, she is addicted to him and the terrible things he does to her, and she just doesn't know how to break away. And it's really sad, because Belle deserves better. But this is the way they've chosen to write the character, so that's not my problem.
I know, and I perfectly agree with that part. I don't agree with the whole, if she goes back to him, she deserves it. Because nobody deserves it.
I'm not saying that she deserves to be abused. Like you said, no one deserves to be abused. But I don't know what else to say about her, because she had this glimmering light of hope with Will. She seemed to have picked herself up off the ground and found some balls to say, no, I'm not going to take this shit anymore. And then as soon as he showed even the slightest glimmer that he may give a shit about her, it was all for nothing. Like, okay, bye, Will. I'm going back to hubby.
Don't start with Will, because I will bring out the Anastasia rant.
Okay, let's move on from Will Scarlet, everybody.
But I mean,
it's always in me.
Does anybody else have any thoughts on Rumple being the worst?
I just have you guys know my opinion last podcast. So I'm not gonna repeat myself, because I am sweet, but I'm sassy. You don't get to see that a lot.
Alex, Rams, you have anything to say about Rumple being the worst?
No, I think I said it last time.
Okay, so Rumple's the worst. We're moving on to the Brothers Jones, people. Okay, So these next two questions are just general thoughts on the episode. Anonymous says, question for the next podcast. As much as I love the episode, I did feel like it was a bit underwhelming compared to all the speculation that everyone was coming up with about how the episode would play out, and compared to how dramatic the promo made the episode out to be. Do you feel this way as well? What are your thoughts?
I like them.
I
Okay,
love the
here's the thing.
episode.
Alex.
The first time I watched, okay.
Alex, go
Alex,
first.
Oh, all right. No, I think it was. I think that a lot of people had this certain perspective of Liam. They thought that he and Emma would be best buddies and stuff. So I think that disappointed a lot of
Nope, yes, we could
people.
do it.
But I think it was perfect.
We've got
It didn't need to
Liam
be.
questions, people.
Yeah, it didn't need to be so. I just love seeing that young part of Killian Jones, and I don't know, I think people were expecting like some huge moment where, Emma and Killian, they've run into each other's, which they sort of kind of did, but you know what I mean, like a huge moment where they're like, oh, I love you and
Yes.
stuff. But that moment that they had was good enough. Like, that's what I like about them, that they don't need to have this huge moment, so you can see the amount of love and stuff. They just can have this little simple moment without saying I love you, and it feels good. I'm sorry, that's it.
Maya, go ahead. And if it includes a rant against Liam Jones, we have questions on Liam.
No,
so.
don't worry. My rant is later on. And it's
Oh,
not that
dear.
big. It's more of a haha. Okay, my thoughts on the episode. Honestly, the first time I watched it, I was kind of underwhelmed by it. And then I had to since I have to review it, I always watch them 2 times. But the second time I watched it, now when my head was clear of everything, I liked it a lot more. Mostly because there was a lot of connections I made to Greek mythology and all that shit, which was awesome. But yes, I really liked Emma scenes. I even liked Regina. Well, I don't agree with her whole you deserve, well, I don't think Killian deserves you. I don't agree with that, but like I kind of see it. Like it's something I've told my friend. It's something I've told my best friend. Like, I don't think that guy deserves you, but you love him, so I'm fine with it. So in that case, I can see it. And I'm glad they're making their friendship look actually realistic. So, like, if we have to deal with the friendship, at least make it look words fail me. Realistic. Also, I really love the Cruella and Charming scenes. Oh my god, they were some of my favorite scenes.
Oh god.
Because
Speaking of that,
I'm sorry, it goes along with so many of my headcanons for James. So I was so happy.
can I say something about Cruella and James, please? You guys realize that James and Cruella are like the 100 couple in this show that has banged before Captain Swan, which is pissing me off. Plus, this episode was awesome, and I'm just still pissed with Rumple. I'm the only thing that this episode was awesome. There's no fucking Rumple, which made me happy. So yeah, this episode rocked.
Lisa?
I wasn't underwhelmed by it at all. I thought it had a lot of really important notes that it answered questions about Killian's backstory that we've all had for a while, and gave us a lot of very important insights between what happened in good form and this. So it filled in a lot of gaps. It hit some really good notes between Killian and Emma that we needed to see. I agree that I wasn't expecting them to do this running into each other's arms thing. Killian was in pain. He's exhausted. He's tired. And after she healed him, I wasn't surprised that he pulled away. I mean, it was disheartening because we love them being affectionate, but I understood why, because Killian feels so guilty about what he did. He feels such to blame for what he did as the Dark One. It's not really a surprise for him to take all of that blame on himself. My issues with the episode really was not story-wise. I was fine with it. My issues with it was there was some pacing and editing things that seemed kind of off. I thought the episode was a bit quick, and that from the time that Liam kind of just showed up out the blue, it was like, they've been there how long now, and you're just now figuring out that your brother, who you haven't seen in 300 years, is there. I felt like the scene with Hades coming to the bar should have been earlier in the episode. Would have paced better with Liam, how Liam found out that Killian was there in the first place, if the dialogue was a little bit different. And then between Liam coming in, I was hoping for some kind of really heartfelt hugging. I mean, based on the promo pictures, I think there was a deleted scene between him coming in and them sitting at the table of like a hug thing, which I really would have liked to have seen to show that like the depth of emotion between the two brothers who haven't seen each other in 300 years. That seemed to me to be something important. But I get it, they film a lot and they don't always have time to put everything in. But you just went straight from that to them sitting at the table and discussing things. It's like everything happened so quick. I just kind of felt the pacing was off. But apart from that, I didn't have any issues. I'm not one of those people that was rallying against Liam or anything. I felt like it's a very human story. He's kind of like how Killian
Okay. We've not to cut you off, but we've got a lot of Liam questions that we can get to in a minute. Rams, what did you think of the episode?
This was probably my least favorite Killian-centric episode. I just think it was badly paced. This should have lasted for 2 episodes. I mean, this whole arc is about save Killian, and I know that's just a reason to get them to the underworld, but I don't know. I mean, I didn't feel the emotional resonance of the reunion between Killian and Liam, and even when they left, they didn't hug each other, and that kind of really bothered me. So, I mean, it definitely wasn't my favorite episode, but there were some really good moments there as well. I mean, it wasn't a completely horrible episode, but I would say it was not that great.
Okay, well, our next question actually talks about the rushed aspect of it, so I'm going to read it. Anonymous says, obviously I loved everything about the episode on Sunday, but did anyone else feel like some of the scenes were a bit rushed or too choppy? Once always has 1 million things going on at a time, and they often handle pacing well, but I just feel like this was not one of those episodes. Thoughts? Well,
Okay, I agree.
For me, it was rushed. See, here's the thing. Emma had this moment, the same moment, where she had to accept herself, but she had a 2-hour episode, and an episode before that where she was talking to the Snow Queen about this stuff. So essentially she had 3 episodes to deal with the same thing, and they expected Killian to get through the exact same emotional progression in 1 episode. So yes, it was rushed, and yes, it did bother me.
Well, in that case, Killian's been dealing with it like for the entire season, ever since like 5E, ever since the dark one. So it has been like, yes, it was rushed. I don't disagree. I actually agree with Lisa that I thought the bar scene would have worked better beforehand. But I don't know, like we've seen hints of Killian facing this and worrying about that. So in that aspect, yes, it was rushed, but not that much. Like, and yes, Emma had 3 episodes basically, but she's the main character, so.
Yeah, but this is the main character's love interest. If they're going to have a parallel story like this, I think they should have equal time. But that's just me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I was kind of put off by, did the bar scene come after the revelation, before or after the revelation that Liam had made that deal? I can't remember exactly.
It was before. It was
Before.
See, here's why I think they put it where they put it. They put it there because we needed to see Liam. This is getting into the Liam stuff, so we're going to get into this rant in a minute. I think they wanted to show Liam disapproving of Emma before we saw him have a connection to Hades. That way you knew that those two things were independent and not influenced by one another. But that's just my take on it.
I just feel like when Hades appeared, I know we weren't supposed to know yet that he had made this deal, but he was acting like he had no idea who Hades was. I would have preferred to see more of an emotional response, considering
Because he's shady.
what happened with him in
Yes.
Hades in the past. That maybe would have like lent credence to how serious this was. But yeah, a lot of it, I think whoever edited it together might have chopped too much stuff off and put things together that didn't seem right. Like I said, in the beginning scene when he shows up at the front door, he's just there out of nowhere. Like they've been there, I'm assuming, for 2 days at the very least. And you would think his brother, who means so much to him after 300 years, that the very second that he would have heard these rumors, he would have started searching. Instead, he just showed up out of nowhere. And like,
in Liam's defense, Killian was in Hades' underground prison from the time he got there.
I know, but I don't even know how.
I think it was the breakout that caused the rumors and the fact that Emma and the gang were down there to rescue him in the first place.
Look,
I know, but I would love to know how I would love to know how he even like figured out where Emma lived or where her house was, because he doesn't even know who she was, and yet he knew where her home was. And then I felt like they missed a really important emotional note: the reunion between the brothers, the first time seeing each other in 3 centuries. I know that there was a hug there because when we saw the promo pictures, you saw them kind of holding each other's arms in the foyer. But I'm certain that they cut it out probably to save time, but it made things so quick and the pace was it made the pace just off. From that very first scene where they clipped that whole scene out, the rest of the pace was just thrown off of the whole rest of the episode.
Yeah.
Well, actually, on the thing, I have a lot to say about Liam, but on the whole, hey, why didn't he look for his brother before? I have to give him that. He probably didn't even know his brother was in the underworld. Like, and I'm pretty sure that even in the Underbrook, the breakout was big news. So I'm pretty sure, considering that he waited the next episode, an episode and a half to find him, I think it's a good pace. I mean, in terms of Liam finding him. As for the hug, yeah, I did feel the emotional. I didn't feel like in the emotional of good form. But here's the thing: good form. We have the two of them being together, and we have Captain Charming talking about it. So that's why it feels a lot more emotional. And plus, we see the dad, the sacred, etc., etc. So, yeah. So I did feel the emotional, but I wasn't completely bothered by it. Like, I'd rather they cut that than cutting something else of importance.
Daniela, did you think it was choppy?
I was choppy. I was expecting like Liam, and then he was like, "Hey, like a big bear hug, like brother bear hug, like that. That more emotional, but it was too rushed. I was expecting that. Then this more rushy thing. I wanted that more than that reaction we got in the episode between Liam and Killian.
Alex, what do you think?
It was definitely a little bit choppy. I expected a little bit more from their reunion, but I guess not. I didn't feel like that emotional about it as I thought I would, but I think it was just editing choices, bad editing choices that were made.
Rams, what did you think?
Yeah, definitely too rushed. Too rushed, and like others said, the editing was really poor, I think. I mean, I loved the Cruella and Charming scene, but maybe they could have pushed it to another episode. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like they had too many things going on as usual, and so they lost some of the emotional resonance that they could have gotten.
See,
Okay.
I don't think that. I mean, I disagree with the whole Clara because the Cruella and Charming scene is actually important for Henry's arc because, and for Henry's arc they need to find out about Hades. So, and all the scenes that were there and wouldn't work in any other episode. because of the
I
things
think
around
they
me.
could have done it. I mean, it's just my opinion. I just feel like they really don't need to have A, B, and C plots for every episode, you know. And I
Exactly.
love that.
Exactly.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Charming
Yep.
and David's. I mean, sorry, the David and Henry scene was great, but it doesn't really need to have the Cruella thing going on for that long. They could have introduced it in some other way. I don't know. They could have done any number of things.
And you know, this is one of the chief complaints I think we've all had probably since the beginning of season 4, maybe even a little bit before that, that they have become so bogged down in hitting plot points that they have forgotten all of the emotional and character development has kind of fallen to the wayside. This episode was so highly anticipated because Liam is such an important, pivotal character in Killian's life. Everyone has been wanting this for such a long time, and I was hoping to see more of an emotional reaction from the family members, especially Henry. But he just walks in like, oh, okay, blah blah. Like he didn't even care that this immensely important person in Killian's life was right there in front of his face. I mean, I know there wasn't a lot of time to have emotional discussions, but if they could have time to do an emotional discussion between Charming and Henry, which really wasn't even that fucking important, they could have a couple of seconds to do, you know, some sort of discussion between maybe Liam and Charming or Liam and Henry, you know, things that needed to be,
I wouldn't
or
want
maybe
a
even
Charming
some
and
more
Liam
discussion
scene.
between Liam and Killian. I mean, I just think that they are so concerned with plot points and A, B, and C that they forget about the characters themselves. They get lost.
But here's the thing: the characters themselves were important in that episode. Henry and Charming are worth a lot more than Liam is. So we're not going to
That's
have
not
them fawning
necessarily
over.
true.
Yes, they are. In the whole genre of the show, yes, Henry is the savior son. Henry is his own character, and Charming is Prince Charming. So I'm pretty sure they're worth a lot more than a character that's been
But
to
in an
us.
episode that's about Killian Jones, I think
Yeah, I'm
that's
just
what that's
talking
their
about the
point
episode.
is. This episode wasn't about
Yes,
Charming. It
but
wasn't about
here's the
Henry. It was
thing.
about Killian, and Liam is his
No,
father figure and
like,
his brother,
they
and the
never.
person who's given him, you know, self-esteem issues his whole life. We should have that.
But here's the thing. Okay, I don't deny that. But they're not gonna have everyone fawning over Liam.
That's not what we're saying. We're not saying we want them to
Yes,
fawn
I mean
over
that's
him.
what Lisa
We're
said, that
saying
she's surprised
That's
that they
not
weren't
what
fawning over.
That's not what
we're
I said. I'm
saying
not.
that Liam should
And
have.
she was surprised that Henry didn't know or Charming didn't know. I'm like, why would they care? Honestly,
Why
for the
wouldn't they
plot.
care?
Of course they would care. You remember that in Good Form, Killian and Charming had this discussion about their respective brothers and how he thought that if Charming had the chance to meet Liam, they would actually become quite good friends. It would have been interesting to see them at least shake hands and say hello. And with Henry, such an important person in Emma's life, maybe instead of Regina coming to her defense, maybe Henry could, but Henry was too bogged down with his author bullshit. So, you know, I mean, I just felt like I'm not saying that Liam had to be fawned over. You are right. Henry is the more important person. But for an episode that is a Killian-centric, that is about his relationship with his brother and the self-esteem issues that he's had because of this pedestal that he put his brother on and how it's so deeply affected him, I felt like we need to see more of that and more of his relation of how Liam relates to the family members than Henry's author bullshit, which could have been done anytime.
I mean, let's be honest here. The show has suffered from this since season 3. Ever since they went to the A and B plot, important character moments that we would like to see, not just with Killian, but with everybody, have gotten lost because they are slaves to this, 11 episodes per half structure. They've tied themselves to this. It's the way things are, and we don't get the slow down, slow your roll character moments that we got in season 1 and in season 2, as choppy as season 2 was. We just don't get that anymore, and it's a shame.
Very.
Yes, but I'm gonna say I do prefer this to having hiatus every 5 weeks. Those are the worst.
Yeah, but at the expense of, important character development Whereas having to
But
tie
see-
themselves to getting everything done within 11 episodes so they can tie the finale up with a little bow before they finish. I mean,
And that's the thing. That's the problem with this structure is the fact that they've decided to not only do 2 different acts in each half of the season and to have separate villains, but what if you had an overarching villain for the whole season rather than just half? You could get
Yeah.
these important character
I-
moments, and they just don't have them anymore because they're tied to this one half of each season has a different villain. So until that changes, and it's not going to change anytime soon, this
Honestly,
is what we're
I
stuck
agree
with.
with that part. I agree with that part. I would prefer an overarching villain, but I still want to keep the hiatus one.
Hey, I agree.
Somehow.
I don't want hiatuses either. I'm just saying they didn't have to do it. They didn't have to choose
Yes.
this particular structure to move the show to, and they did. And since they did, a lot of the things that we loved about season 1 have gotten lost, and that's just a fact.
Yeah.
A very sad fact.
Okay, so is everybody ready to talk about Liam Jones?
Yay!
Yeah.
And I'm ready because all of you are gonna fight me.
Okay. Hold on. I'm going to read 2 questions in a row, and then we can talk. One of them is from Serena, which I'm 99% sure will agree with everything Maya is about to say.
Woo!
But
Serena,
first-
this is why
but-
I need you.
but
I need
first-
you to handle the crazy.
But first, let's see. Kat WJL said, I enjoyed Liam not thinking that Emma was good enough for Killian. It was nice to see someone who put Killian first, and the fact that he acknowledges that he was unreasonable when it comes to his brother's well-being. What did you think? Was it warranted from what Liam had learned about Killian's life? Now, from
Okay.
Serena, calm down. Can we talk about how Liam Jones is the worst? Let me count the ways. He's basically a mass murderer. He let a whole ship die. 2, he cares more about his little brother still hero worshipping him than about the fate of everyone in the underworld, which is why he succumbs to Hades' blackmail. 3, he
Yes.
dares judge Emma. At least Emma didn't murder a whole ship and leave Killian with 3 centuries of feeling inadequate, bro. Number 4, he's not that hot. Despite all this, he gets to, hold on. Despite all this, he gets to go to heaven, and Mila, whose crimes are not even close to his, gets an attorney of torment and is routinely shitted on by fandom. I'm and Eddie, my strongly worded letter is ready to be mailed, and I'm gonna add a big bag of poo if you don't fix this soon.
Wow, this is my
I
rant.
love you, Serena. Why are you leaving me alone with these people? No,
Well,
leave me
she's
alone
leaving,
with these
Maya, she's
people.
leaving you alone with these people so that you could be on the show, period.
I know,
Okay, let my talk. She wants to.
My,
but
get
you
your
know
rant.
what? I'll go in the end because I'm gonna probably talk more than any of you, so I'll go at the end.
You sure?
Okay, Lisa,
yeah,
go.
well, somebody said something really
Okay.
bullshitty, then I'll probably
I think
say
I'm
something.
probably going to be the sole voice of dissension in this group.
No, you won't. You won't.
Because, before we even start here, I do not condone what Liam did. It was wrong. But he is not the only character on the show that is fucked up. All right? And compared to other people's fuck-ups, his is minor. I'm not saying that what he did wasn't wrong. It was wrong. And the crew was justified to do what they were about to do. Yes, he had to pay for it. He made a mistake. He screwed up. But
Okay, before you say anything, I don't care about his crimes. I care about how he treated my dear Emma.
okay, first of all, that's what I was just going to get to. His treatment of Emma was not as bad as what people were making it seem to be. All he
Yes, it
said
is.
to her was that he said that she was at fault, and quite honestly, when Killian was doing the same thing as the Dark One and dropping 50,000 truth bombs, to be honest, Liam was doing the same.
And
None of what he said was false. And yes,
But
but
here's the thing.
wait. I fully know that he was projecting his own guilt about what he did to
Yes.
Killian onto Emma. I understand that, which is why I can't really be mad at him for it. He knows that what he did was wrong. He's hiding a secret, and so he's projecting that onto her. which is why at the end he realized that he was wrong and that she really did have Killian's best interest at heart. But what he said to her, not that she wasn't worthy of him, what he said to her afterwards, that she had pushed him into the darkness, that was not false. She made a decision for him that put him into a position he didn't want to be in. It made him something that he never wanted to be. She took his choice away, which is why it was so integrally important at that well scene for her, as much as she wanted to, grab him by the shirt collar and say, no, you're coming home. She didn't do that. She said, I can't make that choice. My family can't make that choice. Only you can make that choice. As much as it hurts me and I want to die about the fact that you might not come home with me, it's still your choice. It was so vitally important. I cannot fault Liam for wanting Killian's best interest. As Liam had said, this poor guy has been fighting darkness his entire life, and those flashbacks was like the stellar picture of that. He was a drunk, he was a gambler, he had no hope. His life was lost, and I guarantee you that if Liam hadn't done what he did, Killian might not have lived much.
No, they would both be dead.
Longer.
Liam
yes.
and Killian would both be dead.
Regardless of Silver wanting to sail into that storm, that life was breaking him. It was breaking him, and I guarantee you he would not have lived much longer from the despair. He would have drunk himself to death because of all of this crap. The fact that Liam managed to remain in such high spirits is a shock to me, but I guess that's because Liam's personality is different. But I'm not saying that what Liam did was right, but he did the only thing he thought he could do to save his brother's life. They were all they had in the world, just the two of them. They had nothing else. They come from nothing. Their father sold them into slavery. It was just the two of them. And I guess he felt obligated to be not only brother, but father, mother, and everything to this poor kid who had nothing.
Okay.
Even though he had essentially bought his freedom and could have left that shit any time, he tore up those contracts because he refused to leave his brother. I mean, you can't call that man a bad person. He's just human. He is human.
He's human, but being human doesn't save you from being a douche. I'm just saying.
I think.
Okay, before you mentioned the Killian. Remember, I don't know if you remember, but I got on Killian's case when he talked badly about Emma too. I get on anyone's case if they talk badly about Emma. Like, it's not only a solitary issue. People, it's I'm a pro Emma, and then
But
like
by doing that you're not allowing Emma the chance to be human, to have her own flaws. What she did to Killian was wrong. What she did to Killian was wrong, and I don't blame Liam for calling her out for it and wanting to make sure that this time that she's trying to save him, that her motives are pure. That she was not doing this solely for herself, that she thought it was best for Killian too.
I
don't blame him.
I'm not saying it wasn't wrong, because it was wrong, and it was the one selfish thing she's done in her entire life. Probably, right? I'm not saying this wrong, but I'm saying that the way he talked about her without even knowing her, and the whole, and trying to be all holy and mighty and all that. I'm sorry, but you don't tell a woman with extreme self-esteem issues
but he didn't know that.
Well, I don't care. Like, if your brother is happy, then you suck it up and you don't tell the.
But he could tell at that moment Killian wasn't happy. I mean, Killian himself had just pulled away from her because he didn't feel worthy. Killian's problem is that he put both Emma and Liam on pedestals, and they both let him down, and he has to face that and realize that he himself is also human and fucked up and deserves another chance, just like he's giving Killian or Liam and Emma.
And I'm not against him talking about the decision she made. On that point, I'll give a point to Liam. I know. Wait for that. I know. It's the one time you'll hear me say that.
And at that point, when he was saying this to her, that was totally
run in time, guys.
Lisa, you've had your time. It's my time. I'm saying the shitty part was that you're not good enough for him. That was the shitty part. That was the part I was against. Because even with all her issues, she is. And, like, even if it wasn't, you can tell she would. I mean, you can tell that even in his unhappy state, he still deeply loved her. So I'm sorry, but you're not in any way qualified to say if she's good for him or bad for him or not worthy of him when you've known her 3 seconds.
But again, we just established that he was projecting his own guilt about what he did onto Emma. So again, human reaction. I was pissed at him too. I'm just saying that I understand why he did what he did, even if I don't condone it.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Just as Regina had said, he's not good enough for you because she's the savior.
That made me so mad.
Liam is the same way. In his eyes, no one is going to be good enough for his brother. No one.
Just like even like Charmin and Snow thought the same of Killian.
Exactly.
Even though Emma's this, savior person, like with godly powers and all this, and has the truest heart or blah blah blah, still, in his mind, this is his little brother who he's raised since he was a child. He's not going to believe that anybody's good enough for him.
And can you blame Liam? Like the only thing that he knows about Emma is what Killian told him how he got to the underworld. So obviously he's gonna jump to the conclusion, oh, this woman got my little brother killed, so why am I gonna like her?
But this woman is also in the underworld trying to save him.
No, exactly. But when you just when that is that little important person in your life, it clouds your mind, and all you think about is that person, and all Liam thought about was Killian, and I can't blame him for that. It's like me and my mom. My mom's a single mom. No matter what I do, she's always going to think about me first, and no matter who I date, she's never going to think they're good enough for me. So Liam is in that state. And, and what's more important is that Killian at the end made his choice. Nobody made it for him.
And yes, I agree with that. No, and I agree with the whole that he puts Killian first. Well, I say he puts his own ego sometimes first. But...
And if you look at the blocking of the scene too, when he was telling her that she wasn't good enough for him and all this, I mean, we didn't have to have superpowers to tell that he was hiding something and that he was projecting.
No, he was
but if you look at the blocking of it, while he was telling her these things, he was trying to look her in the eye to be direct, but he was having a lot of trouble doing so.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard for him because I don't think he wanted to be saying these things. Honestly.
Well, no, I attribute that to him, projecting onto Emma what he was, what he felt about himself. Now, here's the thing. Let's be real here. Emma did not sit back and take this. She flat out told him, "You're being a self-righteous ass, and if you weren't Killian's brother, I'd probably punch you in the face." And then she actually confronted him about lying. And so, I mean, Emma's not a delicate flower. Emma can take care of herself, people.
Yes, I know, but I like to defend my girl, okay? Because
she's a badass.
90% of the fandom doesn't defend her, so I have to.
One at a time. Rams, what do you have to say about all this Liam Jones stuff?
Okay, I'm kind of midway between the two opinions, I guess. I think this episode was like the egg-napping thing that they gave Snowing. They wanted to tear down the heroes a little bit so that the villains will look better, the heroes won't look as good. They were doing exactly what Killian accused Emma of doing. So make the heroes look bad so that the villains will feel better about themselves. And I just did not like it in the least. Let me just finish off. Let me just finish what I meant. I do think that Liam was partly projecting his own guilt on Emma, but I also couldn't blame him for telling that Emma was at fault for turning Killian into the Dark One. I mean, he was right in saying that, but I also loved the fact that Emma stood up to him. Like, everyone talks about Emma has great self-esteem issues, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't mean she's some kind of delicate darling. She can stand up for herself, as it's clearly shown by how she responded to Liam. She didn't let his opinion of her beat her down, but I think she did take some of it into heart. That's why she told Killian, you have to do it yourself. You have to forgive yourself. After a point, she stopped trying to push him, and she just backed off. And the rest of the episode, Killian did his own, reasoning, and he was able to think things through, and he was able to come to his own decision about whether he should move on or stay back. Emma was not part of any of that aspect, and I really love that. So I really think this episode wasn't great for Liam's character. And yeah, I'm not too happy about the way Liam was portrayed, but I
Okay.
think overall, I just loved how Killian and Emma reacted to the situation rather than Liam himself.
Here's the thing about Liam. Everyone in the fandom, yes, Michelle, I am talking to you too. I love you, but had this image of Liam as holy and noble and could do no wrong. Because yes, that's how Killian sees it. But what we saw of Liam actually in good form was that he was an idiot who died because of his own hubris. Because he was way too ambitious. Stubborn
Now,
as fuck.
wait a minute. Look, after seeing Liam in this episode, I completely understand why he was the way he was in good form, because this was their chance. This was them getting out of slavery. This was his first
Yes,
real
but
command
him,
after. No, wait, I'm not finished. That
and
this
I
is
wasn't finished too.
that this is. Never mind, I lost my thought. Go ahead.
No, but he did hide it because of his own hubris, which is something everyone can happen, okay? Killian had it. Killian, it happened to Emma, and happened to Regina, and even happened to James, you know? That they think they're so above something, and that's the thing that ends up killing them. And happened to James with the giant, Regina with her curse, Rumpel with everything, pretty much. Even Emma, even the dark one turning against her. It's not a bad thing, okay? I'm not saying it against him. I'm saying it makes him more human. See, for me, I know you're not gonna believe what I'm gonna say, but I liked Liam a lot more after this episode because
Me too.
So did
Me
because he
I.
wasn't because he wasn't this holy, perfect, and Lemon person. He was human. He was fucking flawed.
And just to be clear, as someone who's written Liam Jones in quite a few stories, I have written him as a flawed character. I know I
Yes, you
never
have.
expected him to be perfect. So
I know.
let's all just back off on that right now.
I know, but everyone was so, I mean, getting on the whole, oh, Liam is so noble, so perfect, so, not
Well,
maybe you,
again,
but
based on
everyone, and that's a reasonable explanation considering what Killian said, but from what we know, it didn't really give us that explanation. Like, I'm sorry, but the way he died was because of his own idiocy. Like, he was like, no, I can prove it. Like, Killian was like, dude, don't do it. Don't do it.
well,
And she
again,
was like,
this
oh no, I did. I'm gonna do it because you say you
but
haven't.
this episode, if this episode has, I mean, the whole point of this episode is that Killian is a better man than Liam, and always
Oh,
was.
yes, definitely.
Because when Liam after Liam makes his deal with Hades and they're going into the storm, who's the one making the big grand speech and getting all of these
Killian.
sailors to follow them? Killian is.
Oh, and I
Killian
thought,
is just a natural leader of men who has, doubted his own self-worth to the point where he's extremely self-loathing. But when the chips are down and someone needs to take charge, Killian Jones is your captain. Let's all be real.
oh yes.
Yeah.
Okay, here's something I wrote in my review, which you should all check out. Thank you very much. I'm gonna pimp myself out right now for Word of the Nerd. Links on my Twitter. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, but okay, I was very proud of that review because since we're in Greek mythology, everyone here, I mean, knows Icarus and Daedalus, right?
Yes.
They know, you know the myth, right? I don't have to
Yes.
explain the myth. Okay, I compared them, the brothers, to the two of them, and ironically, both of them fit both roles. Liam, in this episode, he was more Icarus. He was both, but in the way he tried to fly too high. Liam tried to fly too high, which isn't bad at all, but it is something that she should be faulted for. I mean, well, not really, but I mean, you understand what I'm trying to say, right?
Yes.
that it is a real flaw that he can never really is like he can never bring out the darkness that lies in him, like it lies in all of us, to the forefront. He was always trying so hard to be perfect. This perfect character. I understand the reason why. I actually feel sorry for him about it because that must have been exhausting.
Yes. Agreed.
That's
Especially
well
when you
explained.
consider the guilt that had probably been weighing on him for years about the decision he made in order to get them to that place.
Yes,
Okay.
but
Can
here's the thing.
we talk about who the real culprit is here?
Hades?
Who is really
Yes.
responsible for them
Brendan?
even being in this situation in the first place?
Brennan?
Fucking Brennan Jones.
Brennan.
Fuck that guy. He's
Ugh.
the worst.
But here's the thing. Okay,
Worst father in the world.
continuing on my analogy, and actually this episode shows a lot about how Killian has grown, and I liked that because a lot of people were headcanon that he was perfect and then he fell from grace. No, actually this says a lot about good form. That he's always trying to reach this perfect uh place, this Icarus, which was William, but he could never reach it because it wasn't actually a real thing. It was an impossibility. Like it doesn't exist, so he can never reach it, which is why he kept falling and falling. And every time he fell, it hurt his self-esteem to think, oh, I can't reach it, so it must mean I'm not worth it. But no, it's actually it means he's even more worth it because he tries. And even without the danger, I mean, that not darkness, not danger. Even without the darkness, he still managed to get out. That's what makes his decisions so real and so human, and that's why we love the guy so much. Honestly, yeah.
All right, Alex, what do you think?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I completely understand the whole situation, but I'm such a huge Killian Jones fan that I'm always gonna run to his side. Well, to his defense, really. And I don't know. I mean, like, I understand both sides, but I don't know.
Well,
So-
do we want to talk about how Brennan Jones is the worst?
Yes, we can.
Who wants to talk about how
Yeah.
Brennan Jones is the worst
Mine
besides me?
first.
Well, Michelle first.
Oh.
Oh
I
my
got the
god.
meanwhile she gets the Brennan.
This man, can you believe this man? He sells his sons into slavery for a dinghy to get away from the law. We don't even know what he did. He's just like, yeah, I got to go. So he leaves his small children in slavery. And slaves get bought and sold. Captain Silver is at least their second master because he's not the dude that Brennan sold them to. He's some other dude, and he's a dick. And slave owners are dicks in general. That's just how it is. Sometimes they try to convince themselves, that they're not, but they really are. And Captain Silver is like the worst. And no wonder I'm impressed that the boys are as well adjusted as they are.
Mostly.
And the fact that they
Especially-
can love is incredible.
Especially when
They
you
get what they
consider,
never got.
especially when you consider how Silver totally browbeat Killian and shit on him day after day in front of his brother, like telling him, you need to cut the chaff and get rid of the anchor that's weighing you down. The sober one can leave, the drunk one stays. You need to get rid of the dead weight. Like treating Killian day after day like he was nothing compared to his brother, even though what happened to them wasn't their fault. I mean, I knew that Killian had a hard life, but I didn't realize how really starkly bad it was till I saw this flashback. And then it really occurred to me that although what Liam did was wrong, if he hadn't have done it, I'm telling you, beyond all doubt, Killian would have drunk himself to death. We are looking at a broken man who had lost all hope, who was in despair, absolute despair. And if he hadn't got killed because of a drunken brawl or the alcohol itself, it could have been anything, but he would have died at a very young age. Honestly, although what Liam did was wrong, he literally saved his brother's life.
Yes, I agree completely.
I agree too. And
You
so
know
Brennan
we're
Jones.
not.
And
So
we'd
Brennan
have no
Jones-
Captain Swan.
So Brennan Jones is the worst. We're not sorry he's dead.
No. I'm excited.
I mean, seriously, the only parent on this show I can think of that's worse is Cora, who left her daughter to die of exposure. Rumple's like the worst, but
Oh, and the something
no.
from
You know who Brennan makes look good? Peter fucking Pan.
bro.
Pan left Rumple with the very kind spinner ladies who taught him a trade and all that stuff. Brennan couldn't even do that. He left them in fucking slavery. Fuck that guy.
Well, the only person that I think will be worse, but he's not in this show, he's in Wonderland. I'm sorry. That was the worst dad in the series.
Cool.
He tried to kill his son. No, Sultan.
That's true.
That's
That's true. I forgot about that.
Kill his son.
I forgot about that.
Hey, you know who's a great, who you guys are talking about great dad? Robin is the only great dad because he never bad. Okay, he lives with Little John, but he's not a bad dad. He's a great
Here's the
dad.
thing. You know who's a great dad? Really great dad? Well, other than Charming,
Charming?
obviously. Little John.
Oh.
Okay, I knew you were gonna say that. I knew it.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So,
But he's the one that has been taking care of the kid 24/7.
What about
one
okay.
gets drunk
Okay.
and goes have sex with his mother's killer.
Rams,
Okay.
do you want to join us in our Brennan Jones is the worst?
Totally. I
I
guess
want
for
to.
me, mainly it's because the way Captain Silver treated Killian and Liam, I mean, it's all Brennan's fault. You know, he was utterly selfish and he just sold off his kids. He never thought about the consequences or long-term effects. And Captain Silver was clearly like kind of, I don't know how long Killian and Liam were in Captain Silver's ship, but it was obvious that he knew how to push all of Killian's buttons. He knew all his weaknesses. He knew how to get him riled up, and he also knew about his alcohol dependency. And I think he completely played him over that the money that was left, so that they could buy their freedom. He probably either roofied the drink or he manipulated him. You know.
Mhm.
That's why
Kind
it was
of
that's why-
reminds me of.
Honestly, can we just talk about how Ellie and Adam
I
have
haven't
some
finished
deep
yet.
daddy issues?
That's why
I
it was
haven't
Right.
finished yet.
Whoa,
I
Rams,
haven't
go
finished
ahead.
talking. You know, in the Captain Swan movie, there's this infamous line that Captain Hook said, like, usually getting people drunk is my tactic, and people are always going back and forth about what it was. This is exactly what Captain Silver did. You know, he got Killian drunk and took advantage of him, and that's probably what
Okay, that's
Captain
disgusting.
Hook was talking about. He completely took that that idea from how Captain Silver cheated him out of his money, you know. So I really think there's a connection between those two incidents in that way.
Sorry if I said something.
Yeah, I think I'm done now.
Oh yes, daddy. I mean, Adam and Ellie some deep daddy issues, man.
Yeah.
That's why
Gotta
it was-
continue.
That's why it was so easy for Silver to take advantage. As soon he knew that Killian was almost completely dependent on his brother. I mean, not his brother was always the one that was protecting him. So as long as Liam was there, that he wouldn't be able to get him drunk or steal his money. He knew that they both wanted to leave, and he knew that he never believed that Killian was worth a shit. So as soon as Liam was off that boat for any length of time, he was like, oh, this is perfect. Now Big Brother's not here to protect you. So
You
here,
know what?
have a drink.
I can't think. Why didn't Liam just take the money? Like,
He
seriously.
should have. He probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking back at it now, he probably should have.
Right? He was already drunk. I mean, in that scene, Killian was already drunk. So why didn't he just take the money?
I don't
Well,
know.
probably because he respected his brother and didn't think the Captain Silver would take advantage of him like that.
Yeah,
I
I
guess.
think he had enough
Yeah.
trust in him that he thought he wouldn't do something that stupid. But
He was really,
Silver
really drunk.
saw a big opening and he took it. It only took one drink, and after that, I mean, I'm not saying that Killian couldn't hold his liquor, but once he had the one, he just. And let's be honest, the alcohol that the sailor's drunk, that's fucking grog. That's
No, but here's the
garbage.
thing. That by the time,
Mhm.
like, it wouldn't even have to be just one drink. By that time he started, he was already drunk.
Well, I don't know if he was drunk, but he was definitely imbibing while he was, swabbing the deck. So he already had some in him. But yeah, I mean, they said he gambled it. That it wasn't just the drinking; it was the drinking and the gambling. He probably, in his inebriated state, thought that he could, win even more money to help them in the Navy, and it went horribly wrong, as gambling tends to do.
Let's be honest, up until the point where he met Emma, and even sometime after that, probably ending somewhere around the Neverland timeline, he was pretty much a functional alcoholic. Like, he wasn't a drunk, but he used alcohol as almost like a self-medicator of sorts, which is what he
Yeah.
was doing in that flashback. He was using it to medicate himself from the depression and the despair. I can't fault him for fucking up. I mean, as
I'm not
what we were
faulting
saying with Killian is also human, but Killian by far of the two is the more sensitive.
Yes, I agreed.
I don't think it's because he's the younger one. I think he's done things to extremes. He hates to extremes and he loves to extremes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a black and a white. He has very little shades of gray. So
I think that's a symptom of being abused.
Yes.
Everything seems really exaggerated,
I wholeheartedly agree.
all emotions and everything.
So yet again, we have another Captain Swan parallel. Both Emma and Killian had like the worst childhoods ever.
Mhm.
Well, we already knew that parallel. That just confirmed it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, Emma had to, bounce around foster homes, had to steal to survive, and unfortunately got knocked up by Bagel. And Killian was a fucking slave.
I just imagine Emma getting fucked up by an actual bagel.
Guys.
I
I'm
can't
gonna
call
eat
him by his
bagel
name
tomorrow
anymore.
now.
I can't call him by his name anymore. I'm sorry.
It
Okay,
was
so
a fair better.
this is why we can no longer say that Neil's or Bellfire's life after he was abandoned by his father is in any way comparable to what Emma and Killian went through, because he
What?
spent 14 years of his life with a decent father, and then he went through the portal and was picked up after a couple months by the Darlings and lived very nicely with a nice bed and food and the warmth of a loving home with good people until he went to Neverland and fell in with the Lost Boys. So you really can't say his life was that horrible in comparison.
Oh, I disagree. I would disagree with that.
okay.
But I don't want to talk in support of bagel, so.
Yeah, let's not talk about Bagel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on,
Yes,
guys,
please
he's
no.
dead.
We've got one more question related to Liam Jones. So I'm going to read that. Anonymous said, I saw some people saying Killian not believing Emma about Liam was OOC for him, but I don't think it was. What are your thoughts on this?
Okay, no, this goes perfectly with my line of thought. Like, he had this perfect image of Liam as this perfect person who couldn't do no wrong. And it's not Liam's fault because he wanted to take care of his brother, but that's the image he gave him. By not showing him, he also struggled, and that he also suffered, and he also had darkness in him. Killian grew up with this perfect image, and even his dad was like, it glorified him even more. So yes, even Emma being like, you know, he's not. It's not that he's shady. It's that he's telling something. He's keeping something from us. And she wasn't wrong. But since
She was
he
not.
had this perfect image, his hero, his world, was falling under him. They were like,
And
no,
and
no.
and let's be clear, the moment he realized that Liam was lying, he was like, Emma was right. And I mean,
And he was already going after her.
he was immediately ready to run after her. So, I mean, this comes up to me. This seems to come up every single time Killian has a human moment and is slightly less than their idea of what Emma's perfect boyfriend should be. I think Emma appreciates Killian more knowing he has flaws and knowing that while he is imperfect but perfect for her because she is also imperfect.
Is this not what
Imperfectly
Colin and
perfect.
Jen have already said about a million times? Is that the reason why they love each other so much? Is because they're able to accept all parts of who each other is. The
And
flaws,
it's
the
so
good parts
real.
and the bad parts, the flaws and the good things. And not only that, but I don't think that Killian ever made a complete decision in the beginning of the episode. 3/4 of this episode, he was completely torn. Yes, he didn't believe that he deserved to be saved, but he was still torn as to whether or not to go with Liam or whether to go with Emma. At the well scene, even after she said, "I can't make this choice for you, and my family can't. Only you can," and she walked away. He was going to go after her, but Liam was the one that stopped him.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until Silver and his men came and busted Liam and for what he did that he was like, "Oh my goodness!" It's like
was
that.
Silver there?
Yes, Silver not in the scene when they were talking. He came shortly afterwards. But it's like
right after Emma walked away.
It's that age-old trope where somebody that starts dating a person and you don't like them because you know that they've done wrong or that there's something about them that's not right, and you try to convince the other person, your friend, that this person's not right, but they have such like rose-colored glasses on about the person, you can't convince them until the person fucks up and they see it with their own eyes.
That was Killian with Liam.
So ironically, what Killian, unfairly accused Emma of trying to do is actually what wound up happening. But he doesn't blame Emma for it because it's just the way it is. His brother is imperfect and they all had to forgive and
forget.
And this episode brought out something that's one of the hardest things for a human being to do. The first person you have to forgive is yourself.
And to get back to
anyone else can forgive you. Like Michelle can forgive me, my parents can forgive me. But if I don't forgive myself, I'm never going to believe it, no matter how many times they tell me. And what Killian needed to do by himself. Because only he can forgive himself. Like Emma says, only you can forgive yourself.
And she got that advice, ironically, from Regina, who our next question is about. Hooked on Killian for Life 28 said, question for the next podcast, what are your opinions on Regina lately? I know a lot of you guys are not the biggest fans of her. I'm not normally either. But I have to admit, I am enjoying her character more and more in this half season. Especially in that scene in this last episode when Emma was talking to Regina about Liam not approving of her. What are your thoughts?
Can I go first?
Daniela, go.
I wanted to say that I think Regina really knocked it this season. I know you guys don't agree because none of you are Regals like I am. But I just think that finally we're seeing more of this friendship between her and Emma moving on because she's being supportive. Okay, she shouldn't. Sometimes she doesn't say the things that are helping. But I just think that it's very great to see Regina having Emma's back when she almost doesn't have it and almost doesn't act like the greatest friendly advice like Elsa did in 4A. But I just think there's a very good point that she does. Regina's trying to be there for Emma and as a friend and trying to advise her this way. And I completely agree with what Mai said about this episode about nobody's perfect, and you have to before you have to forget about the past. You have to forgive yourself because that's what Hook learned, and that's what Emma learned, and I'm glad about that.
Alex, what do you think about Regina?
I'm not a huge fan of her, but like this season I've been starting to like her a little bit more. It just, you know, I'm seeing the friendship, a real genuine friendship now coming up between Emma and Regina. And last episode just proved it. I mean, except that line about, Hook, is not good enough for you or something like. But,
Yeah.
Other than that, like,
There's a background
I
noise.
approve.
Who's?
That was me.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, what? Okay. Yeah, no, because it looked like it was coming from somewhere else. Like, not from yours, but from someone else. Okay. My turn?
Yes, Mai, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so she's making me like her. Oh, or tolerate her. Like him, not yet.
Like's a strong word.
Yes, I tolerate her. And this is like, and I've always been against the friendship because it was kind of an abusive friendship, like where Emma would tell her a million times that, well, I mean, Regina would tell her, "You're suck, you're the worst," etc., etc., which I obviously don't approve of. But here, she actually acted like a friend would act, like I said earlier in the show. I don't like the comment, or agree with the comment that she and Killian are alike, or that she doesn't deserve Emma. But it is a friend thing to do. I know I've said it a lot of times with my best friend. Oh, and a few friends have told it to me, I mean, about my relationship. Like, it's a normal friend thing to say. It's a shitty thing to say, but it's a normal friend thing to say. So, the fact that she actually was acting like a friend, and she told her something like, not, okay, the whole thing about forgiving yourself, because Emma has done it, and it took her a while to do it too. But you can't, I mean, she wouldn't think that it was what was bothering, because she didn't see that in Killian, because she had already forgiven him. So we should get an outside point of view, which in this case was Regina, and was like, no, what happens is that he can't forgive himself. So, light bulb moment, and that was good. Seriously, as long as she keeps it up this way, no insulting comments, I'm good.
All right, Lisa, what do you think of Regina?
I think it's amazing what happens when you trade snarkiness, bitchiness, and cattiness for actual sincerity. This was why.
Exactly.
This was why I had such a hard time getting behind this shoved down my throat friendship between them, because every time Emma was trying to be sincere with her, all she would come back with was snark and sassiness, and that just made it seem like it was a very one-sided thing. But in this season 5, I think Regina's really turned a corner. She's really, she's honestly trying to be sincere. I think her time down there, which is what we were hoping for, is starting to change her, starting to make her more vulnerable.
Like she fucked.
No, she's more vulnerable, so she's willing to be a little more. She's willing to be more sincere. So I can, as you said, vaguely tolerate this friendship more, working my way up to like, as long as she keeps going down this road. Now, I don't believe that she honestly hates Hook. I think that they have an amicable, tolerable acquaintanceship. I don't think that she said it to be. I don't think that she said he's not good enough for you to be mean about Hook. I think she was just trying to build Emma up. She's trying to build her confidence. She's doing what any
it's friend
would. Yeah, she was doing what any friend would do. She was just trying to build her confidence. I don't think she meant anything disparaging towards Hook. And when she said that she understands Hook and that they're alike, I'm not see. I know it's hard for people to swallow that because they're like, well, you're a raging bitch queen. How can he be anything like you? He's not. No, it's not like that. Obviously, they're not all like in that way. In that she's a rapist and a murderer, and he's not. What she was saying is that she understands what it's like to um, have a hard time forgiving yourself for things that you've done, for the horrible things that you've done,
Oh, yes.
and for feeling like you're worthy to be redeemed. She understands that. That's how they're kind of.
Yes, I agree.
And I agree with that.
Because
Okay,
she,
Rams.
even
Go
though
ahead.
she's been trying, she's not fully there yet.
Okay, Rams, go ahead. What do you think of Regina?
I'm starting to really like her again. I mean, the way I was starting to like her in 3A. After that, it slowly derailed. But I think now I think now she's finally being a true friend to Emma and to Snow, and she's not always being the snarky bitch. But at the same time, I still have my reservations about her redemption. Like, she is sorry that she killed her dad and all that. It's really nice, but she hasn't faced anybody in the underworld who's not sympathetic to her. You
I
know,
was just about
she's
to say
asked
that.
for, right, she's only asked forgiveness from her
related to
dad,
her.
and he was ready to forgive her. And then she saw Daniel's tombs, which was a lovely moment, I agree, but I mean, so that's the part where I don't get how she is finding a hard time to forgive herself, because does she even acknowledge that she has wronged so many people? I don't see that. If the
Well,
writers intended, I think
I
it's so
mean,
hidden in the writing that I'm not able to see it.
she was even bitchy to the blind witch, and she's the reason the blind witch is dead. I mean, here this is it's weirdly ironic that they going into 5B they kept saying, you know, Regina and Rumple are the reason why most of these poor people are in the underworld. Oh my God, this is, you know, they're gonna get lots of stuff to do, but yet every single person they've confronted has been a family member
related
of
to her.
some sort. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Mila is
Or her
Rumple's
horse.
ex and stuff. And so it's like, or an animal in the horse's case. So it's like, well, what is the point of this arc if you're having them go down there to like really see the impact of what their villainy has done in the world, but we're not actually having them confront any of their victims who are
This,
not related to them.
Like
this
So,
Ram.
is why, exactly, I'm sorry, but I know Michelle's against it, and I know, this is why I wanted Graham in the storyline. Exactly
You
this
know
reason.
what?
Because he's the one, he was an innocent that she completely wronged in both lives. So, her facing Graham, for me, would have been a big step forward.
Hmm.
I
Yeah, so
don't
it
know if
wasn't
the
the whole,
writers.
God.
I don't know if that would have been good, because the writers are never acknowledge it was rape, and I'm just afraid if they bring him back, they're just going to do something so disgusting that I won't even know how to watch the show anymore, you know?
Yeah, there is that danger. I mean, they've already had. I mean, Belle's already pregnant. They clearly, and they had, you know,
Oh
Zelina
god.
rape Robin too. So clearly they have problems. Let's just leave
Yeah.
Graham lie. But there's plenty of. I mean, Regina's killed thousands of people. I'm sure they could have
Yeah.
found somebody
yeah, I
for her
know,
to
but I mean,
confront that
but
is not related to her.
Honestly,
and
I guess
I
we
don't.
have to be satisfied with. I mean, from the moment that they set foot in that place, you could sense the fear that Regina had when they were walking down Main Street. She was looking around, expecting somebody that she killed to jump out and attack her. Like when she saw the unnamed henchman guy, the one that she had killed in the one flashback from her birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Black
She
Tea.
has this fear. I can tell she's afraid. She knows that a lot of these people that are down here because of her, and I think it weighs on her a lot. But as we said earlier in the podcast, they're so bogged down with ABC plotline story that the character development part that we know needs to be seen just kind of goes by the wayside. So as much as we'd like to see it, we really shouldn't hold our breaths.
Mhm.
true. I just want one. I'm not picky. I don't even have. It doesn't even have to be a character we know. You know, it can be an entirely new extra character. You know,
Yeah, I'm
as
down
long
with
as
that.
as long as it's there, I'm fine. I'm good. I'm not picky.
Actually, you know what? Maybe if she had just apologized to Snow in that Hercules episode, that was a perfect opportunity, right? Because she said,
Yes, right?
Yes.
she was like, but you didn't really fail. You found your daughter, blah, blah, blah. You know, that's not really being sorry.
No.
Instead,
Okay,
it
well,
just it
look,
just came
I
off
love
like,
that
well,
scene.
did you die?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I wanted Regina to say "I'm sorry" speech, please.
Okay, we've got some spoiler questions coming up, guys. So we've already been at this like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yes, we
So,
have. And my
Yeah.
family is
okay,
saying they're gonna kill me because I'm being late for lunch. Really late.
one last question before spoilers. Stacy submitted. Do you guys get those moments where you don't feel bad for the people who who hate / don't ship Captain Swan because they only have themselves to blame?
No.
Honestly, I'm like, you chose this speech.
I don't feel bad.
I
Nuh-uh.
don't feel bad
I'm
for them
sorry, I
because
don't
I
feel bad.
probably
It's
I
been
feel
said. I'm not
Sorry,
even
but not
getting into
sorry.
that.
like, no, sorry.
I would like to
You're
build you
screwed.
too sassy.
It's not my fault. You hitched your horse to the wrong cart. That's
I
all.
just
Yeah, I mean,
find it comically funny the reasons and justifications that they lay out for why it's toxic or all this other shit, and it's like, guys are so great for a good laugh. Please keep it coming so I can keep laughing. Y'all are so funny.
okay.
But
All right.
Next question.
Are we ready for spoilers?
Check.
Yay!
Yes.
All right. Okay. I'm going to read a few of these in a row since they're all related
I'm up to 6.
to certain things that we probably all saw recently. Anonymous says this isn't really a question, but it's safe to say for all the warriors out there that there will be plenty of Captain Swan in the finale. And even though there seems to be some sort of separation, we also get a reunion and an epic kiss. I'm excited. And then another anonymous says, "Did you guys see the Captain Swan epic kiss spoilers from 523? Are you going to talk about them on the podcast?" Yes, we are, Anon. Anonymous says, "Question for the next podcast: based on the spoiler pictures we got of the season finale, what are your theories on what happens in the season finale between Killian and Emma?" Question for the next podcast: do you think in the spoiler pictures we got of Emma and Killian kissing in front of Granny's, is it some sort of proposal scene?
Wow.
It was a lot of questions all about the same thing.
Yeah.
Spoiler
Are
pictures
those
from this
all the
past week.
questions about that thing?
Okay, Alex, what do you think?
Okay, so as you guys know, I clearly said that I do not think it's a proposal, but one of you guys changed my mind about it. And I know you guys, one of you made a great point about it, how Emma is not all about the, romantic. I mean, I'm pretty sure, she likes all the romantic stuff, but that's not her. She's more about, straightforward and yeah, I don't know. Now that one of you guys said that, it just made me think about it, and it just, yeah, now I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon and say that it's a
Or
proposal.
welcome.
But
You're
if it's not a proposal, I just want to get this out there.
What
I'm
is your
not going to
alternate
be
theory?
disappointed because it's an epic kiss, and we've never seen that kind of kiss between
Wait,
them.
foot popping. Her foot
For
popped.
reals.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, and he picked her up.
Okay.
Me?
Okay, Lisa, what do you think it is?
we have like lists of all the Captain Swan kisses we've had so far since season 3, and while they're each special in their own right, not a damn one of them is anything compared to this. Lifting up off the ground, foot popping, freaking eating each other's faces. Okay, yeah, this is more than just I'm so glad to see you after you went through a portal and came back, even though I just rescued you from the depths of hell. and I kissed you there before when I found you. I don't think that's a welcome back from a portal kiss, friends. I think that's a, hey, you want to do this? Yeah, let's do this.
Do it next, being the
I
sex.
think it's a proposal.
I wanted to know. Okay, I just want to say that this kiss may kill me, and I watched the video like for 115 times. So I just hope that it's a proposal because I will flip a fucking table and I'll lose my shit and I'll kill myself if it isn't. But I hope it's a
No,
proposal.
don't.
It'll be awesome. I'm just saying.
Rams,
I'm saying literally. I'm not saying I'm going to kill myself. I'm saying
And
metaphorically.
then,
metaphorically
yeah,
speaking.
Yes.
that's not nice to
Rams, what do
say.
you think it is?
I think
Rams, what do
the
you think?
proposal. I think the proposal happened before Killian and Snow and all those people got sucked into the portal, but Emma wasn't ready to give the answer yet, or they got distracted, or maybe it was the funeral, so they didn't want to discuss it further. And this was her saying yes to his previously asked question. So I think, yeah, it's an answer to a proposal.
I agree. I agree with that.
Exactly.
My
I
what do
know
you think?
God.
Okay, here's what I think. Bang, bang, bang. Bangity, bang, 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 bang. Bangity, bang.
To which I say you could bang after a proposal.
Oh,
Now,
yes.
here's the
my
thing. I mean,
I
I
don't-
desperately want them to bang. We all
Yes,
know
we
this.
want to. It's been
Yes,
insanely
no.
wait.
Way too damn long.
Yes, I will kill myself if I have to wait for more than just season 6. They have to bang. Season 5B, in 5B is time for engagement and bang bang for Cam and Swan. Let's
Okay.
not deny that.
Shit. I was talking, woman.
Sorry, I was going to
Seriously.
say
Nobody,
anything.
Go.
no respect here.
Go, Mike.
Nobody respect me. But seriously, I
Yes,
don't
Rodney
care.
Dangerfield.
I don't care if we get a proposal. I'll be glad. I will be overjoyed if we get a proposal. I just really want the sex. Come on.
Okay,
Don't make me wait until season 6.
okay.
It's inhumane.
Here's my question about the banging. Does anybody think that they've missed the boat on the banging?
No.
That it's
No.
just that it's completely unrealistic for them to have waited this long if they indeed have not banged.
Like,
Absolutely
Like the
not.
show.
I'm almost
Like-
certain that in
like-
that 6-week time period that they had, there was probably quite a bit of banging.
Yes, but
That's
we
what I'm
didn't go
saying.
to
That the
pyramids.
show has missed the boat in acknowledging that it has happened.
Yep.
but
Yes.
here's the thing, they haven't acknowledged that it has happened. So as long as they don't acknowledge that it has happened, I'm gonna believe that it hasn't happened. Because really, they haven't even showed even a hint that it had happened.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Except for the deleted script tease from 514 or for 414 when Snow says that Emma was at Hooks the night before. And that's why they didn't tell her about Regina being all undercover.
And
So
if
there's
she's
also
there with
one
them
more
on the
thing.
Jolly Roger overnight, I think you can fairly bet that some bangaranging was going on.
I mean,
it was deleted, so.
their body language they're
Very-
way too intimate body language wise for a couple that has not had sex. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Yes, but
I
I don't
agree.
care if
There's
they have
a
already had
difference.
Sex. I just want to see them have sex again. Then, if
I want
they
to
haven't
see
had sex,
Well, one at a time. One at a time.
I'm
Rams, go ahead.
Okay, so I think there's a distinct shift in the body language between 4A and 4B. When they open the 4B scene, they're like they have their arms around each other, and it's like they're just literally glued together. And there's also that scene in the Ursula episode where she's teasing him about the onion rings. The placement of the scene. It kind of, I don't know, it was very intimate. And even in Camelot, the way they interact, to me, it feels like they have been intimate already. I think it would be nice if they were shown on screen, but I think at this point, I'm just going to assume that they already been doing it for a while.
yes,
So would
but
it
I
feel
want to see them do it.
So would
I
it
don't
feel
care.
anticlimactic to you to see them do it now?
No.
Considering we've had all this time and
no.
they're not showing. Okay.
No,
I mean,
don't like I said, yeah, it's kind of unrealistic that they haven't had sex at this point. Seriously, with that boyfriend or with that girlfriend, I would have jumped both already. Come on. But
amen to that, sister.
Yeah.
like I said, I mean, I still want to see it because there are a few couples that have as much sexual chemistry as Jennifer Morrison and Colin O'Donoghue as Emma and Killian. Like, oh my god.
I completely agree. Which
Like,
is why
this is
I,
going through for me.
any other to go to waste.
which is why it boggles my brain that they haven't given us some clue that they've done it already. I mean, that's just insane. I mean, they've been together counting the 6 weeks before, between 4A and 4B and the 6 weeks in Camelot. They've been together for almost 4 months. And you cannot seriously tell me that these two people who have been attracted to each other for a long time now, from practically the moment they met, and now they're in a relationship and they're happy, that they haven't had sex yet. And you can't just blame it on, well, Emma lived with her parents and Killian was staying at Granny's. There are a myriad of places in the storybook they could have had sexy times before
Like
this.
I could
Jolly
just
Roger.
Read all the fan
the
fiction.
podcast.
Yes.
Like I proved because for those that weren't here, obviously because we were offline. But Michelle was going like, no, see, they broke down the set, so I don't think they're gonna have sex. And I'm like, they don't need to have sex in her house. They can have sex with Granny's. They can have sex in her car. They can have sex in Regina's office. They can have sex in the alleyway.
I think
Someone write the fanfic where they have sex in Regina's office. Go.
I think it's just I think it's just that this couple means so much to all of us that and after everything they've been through together, that I can tell you from my point of view, I've been shipping couples on TV since I was 12 years old. And you guys know how old I am. I've been around for a while. I have never felt so enamored of a couple the way I do them. They are just like, they're everything. They are, I want every ounce of happiness that they could possibly have. Will we see it all? I've kind of accepted the fact that because of the way that the plot plays out on this show, that we probably won't.
But here's the thing, they've shown it for everyone else.
They've shown it for all the queens, Snowy.
I mean,
you cannot
in a
give
crypt.
me
I know. He did it in a crypt while he was still when his not wife was frozen. I mean, come on.
It wasn't exactly positive.
Frozen.
You cannot give me plot that the plot moves too fast for a sex scene. Like, no. This show has proven otherwise.
Yeah, I just don't understand. I mean, I don't know if it's a network mandate or they really just don't know how to work it in, which makes them shitty writers. Because I can tell you there are pages and pages and pages and pages, thousands of words from fanfiction writers who have managed to fit it in. Hello.
Yep.
So it just feels like a moment that we should have gotten by now, and we haven't. And believe me, I want it as much as everybody else does, but
I wanted the most here.
I kind of feel like I feel like they missed the boat, and we should have seen it on screen before now.
Yes,
I agree.
I'm sorry. I'm still on about the part that it wasn't in 505. I mean 405.
I want
The first kiss was in 205. I mean 305. The first date was in 405.
No, 7505 we had to deal with Killian is mysteriously missing. Crazy bullshit.
Yeah.
That made no sense. Okay, so last two questions. You know what you need to do, person with the laptop. Stacy says, well, guys, I'm guessing Guinevere and Lancelot aren't going to get a solution they deserve, or we might see it when Violet goes back to Camelot. So, do you think we're going to see Guinevere and Lancelot in the finale?
What did I miss? What did I miss?
The portal that sends Merida and the gang back to
Camelot.
Camelot, and I didn't see Guinevere and Lancelot. Remember, Guinevere is still under the influence of the creepy sand.
Mm-hmm.
I
So
would
I
like
guess,
to.
so
I
I
would
guess
like to
Stacey is
believe.
when.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I would like to believe that that situation is going to be resolved before they go back through the portal, but being real and knowing how crazy ass the storylines are going from A to B, and then there's the hospital asylum and all this other shit. I think it would probably be something quick, like they all get back and they realize that, oh, Arthur's still here, we got to send them all home, it's not fair to leave them here. And they, for some reason, open up a door in the middle of Main Street where they could have done it a little more private, send them through, and then shit goes to hell and everybody else gets, I mean, I would like to see, because I don't feel it's right for her to be under his thrall like that anymore. I mean, it's really not right. I would like to see them fix it. Hopefully they will, because that would be a glaring plot point, like a glaring fucking plot point. If they
Like,
don't
I
fix
would
it.
bother them about it, like, for ages. I would.
Yeah, because the whole episode revolved around poor Guinevere getting roofied by her husband. So
Yeah,
we
speaking of
fixed that
Tamil
show.
people, have you guys seen the picture of the filming of Henry's first kiss with Violet?
I really
Oh,
don't care.
yeah.
I was so cute! It was the cutest
I don't
really
care.
I
care.
don't care either.
puppy love. I
The only
love
thing that I care about is trying to figure out if all the rest of the people are going back to Camelot, why the fuck didn't she not go with them? And where's her father? Really?
And maybe she and Henry left before the portal. Because maybe they were like chasing Rumple or something. I don't know.
Or maybe she will.
Why is
And can
Henry
we-
chasing Rumple?
Nobody knows why Rumple's in New York. No one's figured that out yet. But
I don't know.
I mean,
But
I'm going
we
into
just-
the finale with expectations low. The only thing I can say for certain is from the way that it looks when they were filming these last couple scenes. I know that season 4 we got a big cliffhanger with Emma disappearing after taking on the Dark One, but I think season 5 is gonna end the way season 3 ended, where everybody
Agreed.
else's stories are tied up with a neat little bow, and then at the very end we'll get like they've got Jekyll coming in, and because they're trying to help him out, I guess, but they don't realize that Hyde, Sam Whitwer, whoop whoop, is following them, obviously, and is going to.
Yes.
And I gotta say, damn ABC, because that shit be dark. You realize that Hyde is a sociopathic murderer, right? I didn't
Yeah.
realize you were gonna go
Well-
that dark, but okay.
Well, and can we talk about my theory about how Hyde finds them?
Yeah.
That my theory is, remember in those shots in when they were shooting in downtown Vancouver, Killian's ring was missing, the one on his index finger. I think he loses it in that asylum when they're rescuing Jekyll, and that's how Hyde manages to track them to Storybrooke.
Using a
But do you
locator.
So
think
again,
he's
so-
two
Dun,
different
dun, dun.
people then? I think they're the same
Well-
person.
Oh.
Well, not
Well,
I think
supposed
they-
Well,
to be.
technically, it's like a personality split, but since they're putting their own twist on it,
Maybe we'll never
Yeah.
see
Maybe
them
it's-
together on scene. We don't know that, you know. I think.
that's true.
Yeah, so I
It-
think
it-
maybe
well-
they think they're just bringing Jekyll to Storybrooke, and then suddenly Regina sees Hyde there, and we don't know if
Oh, crap.
Jekyll's just gone somewhere, and it could be played that way too.
I mean, for all
I saw a very interesting theory about Regina and the Jekyll and Hyde thing, because if Robin does die, it is kind of weird that she's not like in like extreme mourning or something, and that they could be making Regina a parallel Jekyll and Hyde in 6A with
Ooh.
Regina and the Evil
Yeah.
Queen.
Please no.
I still don't want to spec on that till we know for certain.
Go
Right
for
now,
it.
it's still like up in the air what that storyline is
Sure.
going to be. But it looks to me like, for all we know, it could have started out where Jekyll and Hyde are the same person, because he either took the potion, maybe he took he was trying to figure out a way to deal with inner anger, and he got his hands on some sort of magical potion that was able to split his personality, but then maybe the second personality, the Hyde, became so dominant that he literally split into two separate people. Like physically split into
Yeah.
two
That
separate
could
people.
be.
That could happen too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised by that on this show.
Okay, next
Oh,
question.
can I say how horrible the sideburn is? Oh my god, he has to lose the sideburns. I don't like it.
He's not gonna lose the
Yes.
siren.
Why are you doing the Sam Witwer show? Stop.
Yeah.
Sam Witwer's a
All
very
I gotta
handsome
say-
man. Stop.
All I gotta say is I don't care what that man wears, because I have seen him do evil as Aiden the vampire in Being Human, and oh my god, can this man do evil? Holy shit.
Really?
And
Oh,
it's
yes.
Small
Yeah, and
World.
look hot.
Tuesday, remember?
Yes,
Doomsday.
I remember him. I saw him in Doomsday. He was in the
And-
wedding of Chloe and Jimmy.
And not only that, but he also does the voice for Darth Maul and the Emperor in Star Wars Rebels.
Oh
And don't
wow.
forget, he's also the face of Force Awakens. Not Force Awakens, but
Force Unleashed.
Force Unleashed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Galen
He's
Merrick.
Sam is a super duper Star Wars nerd, just so you all know.
Wow.
Like, he's legit.
Okay.
Like my
Last
brother.
question.
Okay.
Last question.
We got
Poor
one last
Robin was
question,
Yeah,
and
right.
it's a really fun one. Okay, Anonymous said, how do you feel about Colin in a banana suit? I'm so excited.
Yeah, what? Why in a banana suit? Why are you guys in a banana suit? Why?
Because Sam dared him to, because of the whole
Ah,
male
the one with the
madness.
kilt?
When
Yes.
he in his acceptance speech, he was like, Colin, you have to wear a banana suit.
I can't wait.
And Colin
I
tweeted
want him
that,
to be
of course,
shirtless and
but
wear
he
wearing the
first needs
kilt.
to find a banana suit.
Honestly, I think
Yeah.
it's cute. It's cute, but I would have preferred the sword fight, to be honest with you.
Yes. I would prefer him wearing a kilt and being shirtless,
already-
please.
But he already wore
Well,
a kilt.
one of these days we have to manage to overcome the Sam girls in order to win one of these things, so Colin can set the terms.
We can. It's just getting people to vote. Nobody wants to do it, and then you have to
And here's
deal
the
with.
thing,
Then
okay,
you got to deal with the bots.
No
and people
offense
cheating.
against the Outlander fandom, but the Outlander fandom has 30 years on us.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it is a book series, so that probably plays into it.
They have
Are
30
you
years
sure
on us.
they're not?
and-
Are you sure no one's using bots? Because
No,
that has been a problem
they're
before.
not. No,
Hmm.
here's the thing. They're not, and literally everyone in the cast and every single writer tweets this post. Like, seriously. Here might
they're
tweet,
hardcore over there.
Colin might tweet it, or somebody else might tweet it, but not everyone. And then, everyone, even the minor actors tweet it. So,
All I know is
Probably
that
parts of
They're
the
competitive
fandom
as
that
fuck.
vote against Colin in our fandom. You know that, right?
Yeah.
All
that's
I
The
know-
true.
people don't want
Uh,
Colin to win.
all I know is if we were able to win People's Choice Best Couple over them by a large margin, 500,000 votes, I don't see how we can't beat him as a singular person.
Yeah.
Honestly.
My question is, why did E set up the poll like that? I mean, they could have had Colin and Sam in the finals instead of the
no, and they had
semifinals.
them
Like, what-
originally.
Yeah, they did. They had that
Originally-
originally, and then they changed it. And I'm like, why would
Yeah,
you change that?
originally
You could
he
have it
was
in the
going-
finals, you
It was Sam against
dumbasses.
Bob, and
Yeah.
Colin against the idiot.
Maybe some of the fans complained or something.
Well, they shouldn't
I don't know.
complain because that's stupid. But okay, yeah,
Mm.
that's all. That's all questions we have. Does anybody have any final thoughts on the Brothers Jones?
Green
cannot
Devil, Green Demon's coming! Yes!
What the?
What?
Green Demon. Green Demon. Zelina and
Zelina and
Hades.
Hades.
Oh,
Yes!
Zelina and Hades. I was confused.
Wicked wants their song.
No sing any Wicked. They don't deserve it.
I love them. Serena and I ship them,
Okay.
so yeah.
Any
I
more
do
thoughts
too.
on
Okay.
Any thoughts
Before
on
I
the
was
Brothers
interrupted.
Jones?
because
No, Robin.
somebody-
Where was Robin?
Please don't
He was-
do this to me, man.
Getting food.
Do we have to put out an APB on Robin?
Please no.
Okay,
Don't do
here,
it to
okay.
me.
Okay, guys.
I have a feeling
Alright,
that's
go
going to
ahead.
be it's going to be addressed in this episode. Maybe they sent him somewhere to look for something or someone.
Hey, maybe they sent him to Regina's wall to wait there. Sorry.
Please don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. I don't want my Roman to die. Damn it.
Okay, guys, stop interrupting. Jesus Christ, woman. I can actually say that because Rose not here.
Go, Mike.
But what I'm most looking forward to is the James David meeting. I mean, they've been hyping it up. There's no way we don't get it. I want that meeting. Give it to me.
I want Selena and Regina get a non-magical cat fight, but be funnier.
And that would be way too much fun.
No.
It's what we've been seeing in every single one of their interactions. They always get into cat fights.
Yeah, but not magical ones.
Yes, they
Well, the
did.
last time they tried it, Regina got thrown into the clock tower, so be careful what you wish for.
Mm.
Okay, so is everybody good?
Yes.
Yes.
Goodbye.
All
Hello,
right.
bye-bye.
It's been a great episode, guys.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
it has been. Bye.
Bye.